Welcome. Our countdown clock is expired here, so it's time for us to get started. My name is Corey Anderson. I will be your host for this evening. We're really excited to have everybody here for our 35th annual VCSU Viking Hall of Fame. It started in 1986, and in that span, we have celebrated the induction of 161 individuals and 62 teams into the Viking Hall of Fame in that time period. And it's indeed always a great day to be a Viking. We have homecoming tomorrow versus Dickinson State and a lot of other really fun activities planned for our alumni and friends. A couple housekeeping things. I want to first of all say thank you to the Eagles for providing this opportunity for us to have this location, to Jenny for providing with her staff the meal that we are about to eat, to VCSU for allowing us the opportunity to have this event, and to a couple individuals, Mark Potts, Mitchell Silkman, and Austin Rogelstead. They are our video people that are here capturing this for posterity's sake. It doesn't just happen that they show up a couple hours ago. 1 o'clock today, they were out here getting things ready. Many of you had contact, if you're going into the Hall of Fame, with Mark Potts 5-6 months ago. And so we appreciate the efforts of all those people, and the things that are taking place here tonight are largely due to them. At this time, I would like to call on Dennis McCulloch, our interim athletic director, for a few words. Dennis?
Thanks, Corey. You notice you put a pretty strong emphasis on interim, right? It's a fragile environment. First of all, just, it's an honor to be up here to represent VCSU in our athletic department. This is my 29th year here. I started when I was 20, so you guys can figure that out. So Dave Bass and I think started about the same time. But this is it's an honor. To represent our athletic department. Appreciate the president giving me this opportunity, and I'm going to try not to blow in this year, so we'll do everything we can. I just want to take the time to introduce our coaching staff. First of all, we'll start with on the back table. We were trying to put that table a little bit farther back, but we're going to start. Our head women's basketball coach, Vanessa Johnson. You got to stand up, and let's just stay standing. We just stay standing. Our head cross country, men's and women's cross country coach, and men's and women's track coach, Laquan Robinson. Our head men's and women's golf coach, Clay Manny. Our head baseball coach, Coach Casey Olney. Our head softball coach, women's softball coach, is Matt Gable. Our head men's basketball coach, Ryan Montgomery. And the power behind the throne in Viking football also joins me for 29 years, our assistant head football coach, Greg Horner. Bridget Graywater, our head women's basketball coach, is at a wedding this weekend, I believe. So these guys do a fantastic job of making us all look good. Thank you very much. Guys, appreciate it. Sit down. I just want to say, first of all, congratulations to everybody in the Hall of Fame. You're getting older when, I felt these guys were just here a few years ago. They're getting into this, I see them, and I just can't believe they're now, are able to get into the Hall of Fame. Like it creates a memory, and I just think they were here a few years back, and I see them now, and I just can't believe, like I've been here this long for you to allow you guys to be in the Hall of Fame. But what was great is I had a chance to witness you guys being here and what you did. And the impact that you made on our university and our athletic program was amazing. and I congratulate you for earning this opportunity. And it is truly earned opportunity. So congratulations for joining the Hall of Fame at Viking Athletics. Congrats. Let's give them a hand. I know Corey's counting my words. He said I only have a few words. You notice he said a few words. So, but here's one thing I want to talk about is Corey Anderson. And Corey coached with us. He was our head baseball coach. He was assistant. He was offensive coordinator. He was a SID. He was in enrollment services. Did you have any other job titles while you were there? There's like 10 job things I think he was doing while he was here. You know, loved having him be a part of our program. He was a special part. I would say Corey taught me Viking pride. Like I arrived here, and you know, people talk about Viking pride and what that meant, right? So you have this word Viking pride, and I hear people use it, but like Corey understood it and taught it. Like he you know, it was special to him. He learned it from his dad, Jim Dew, right? So, I mean, you know, he just brought it in, and you know, he had this. Coach Horner had a bet on Matt crying, so I apologize. I'm not crying yet, so it's not, nobody won any bet. All right, so Corey had this stupid board. Like you know, he's like, we're gonna pat, you know, had this board that he'd pat on our way out of the gym. It said Viking pride, you know? And yeah, you know, I didn't really understand it. The longer I'm with the program, the more that we understand it, it makes sense, right? You know, we represent something bigger than ourselves. Like when we tap Viking pride, like we wear our colors all the time. I'm a Viking, I'm always a Viking, no matter what we do, right? Today I'm the head football coach and athletic director. No matter where I go, I represent Vikings athletics. No matter what I do, good or bad, I represent us, okay? You know, Corey drilled that. It's very important to him. So, Corey took off and he took another job and he became our commissioner, and he was an amazing commissioner. And I will tell you, I was very angry when I heard he was coming back to join our you know, foundation office, okay? And I never told him this. Whose phone's going off? Oh my gosh, do you know I'm speaking? Okay, so, you know, Corey's a fantastic North Star commissioner. I mean, he did an amazing job. He was taking us in places we hadn't been, pushing people to new levels, right? He did a fantastic job. So I'm very selfish, right? My concern was what was gonna happen when he left, right? Not about what he would do for us. But he came back, and I think it was Bass says to me, you know, Mac, maybe, you know, he'll make that same impact here, right? He'll change us. The reason I'm talking about this is like Corey Anderson has dedicated his life to athletics here. Valley City State means everything to this man, right? He came back home to give his all, right, for this university. And I can't tell you, we can't thank him enough for what he does, taking over a foundation office, right? The impact that he makes, the love that he has for this university. We are truly lucky and blessed to have a man like that in our foundation office. And it's a pleasure to get an opportunity to work with him again and be a part. I just want all of us to give him a round of applause, please. All right. Last thing I want to say, you guys all made an impact here in our university as an athlete. I would highly encourage you to continue to be Viking. You played for us, and I know it feels like that's over, right? I had my impact, I did a lot of great things, but I would highly encourage everybody that's been a part of Viking athletics to remain Viking. And I tell people to be Viking. You can be a fan. I got one of my good friends who's a VCSU alumni, football guy, and he's going to the Bison game this weekend. But in his heart, he's be Viking. He's a fan. He's going to go cheer on the Bison, but he's not affecting them on a daily basis. What I'm encouraging, right, you guys to do is to be active at the university. Being active, right, means being involved with the programs, caring, helping us recruit, telling people, spreading the good word about Valley City State University, okay? Coming back for events, be involved. And it also may be giving, okay? If you have a passion for your sport, if I love softball, I loved our softball team when I was here and everything that affected us, it doesn't have to stop. Because if you guys don't support us, we won't continue to the levels that we want to be. We want to move our level. We don't want to stay the same. We're very competitive people. Coach Max is 0-2, right? We're frustrated, but we're extremely competitive. When you look around these coaches, they've given their lives to do this. We want to be successful. We need support. And that support comes in lots of different ways. I just ask you, right, if Valley City State made an impact in your lives, continue to have it be involved. I mentioned about Josh Kasowski. One of the things that I admire about Josh is he played at a high level and impacted our program, but he chose to continue to be involved, be a part, okay? And those are things I encourage everybody to be, right, to remain a being Viking. Be Viking. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time. Go Vikes.
So how you stay around 29 years in your position is that you make the comments that you make knowing that I was going to get up and say is you only need to be concerned if I say interim football coach. At this time, it's our pleasure to call on Dr. Alan Lefebvre, the president of Valley City State, to make a few comments. Dr. Lefebvre, South Dakota native, just like Coach Mack, and a few years ago, the first time he was here, I said that he had, his shoes had TGIF on the heel because they came from South Dakota, and we always wondered what that meant. And it stood for toes go in first. Well, I'm proud to say he's been a native of the state long enough, and he's really a Viking, as Coach Mack talked about. And if you check those shoes, it does not say TGIF on that.
Thanks, Corey. Welcome, everyone. It's so wonderful to have the opportunity to honor you all tonight for the achievements and the impact that you made here at VCSU. Before I get into that, I want to echo all of the thanks that have been made by Corey and Coach Mack so far tonight. We couldn't do this without a lot of really hard work put in by so many people. I'd also like to take a moment to recognize the administration at VCSU that oversees and supports all of these activities. And I know we have several members of the cabinet here tonight. We have faculty members and staff members. If you're a faculty, staff, or cabinet member at VCSU, would you please stand and be recognized right now? Coach Mack indicated that he's serving as the interim AD, and along with that, we've made some internal moves as well. And I just want to take a moment to recognize those three folks who are helping us in assistant athletic director roles here at VCSU. Anna Bratch, would you please stand? And Casey and Mark Potts. Let's please recognize them for their role as assistant ADs. You know, yesterday we had what we call convocation on campus, and this is where we bring the whole campus community together, and we have academic recognitions and recognitions of All-American honors and all-conference honors and team honors. And it was really a great day to talk about the success of our students and our student athletes at VCSU. One of the things I shared with them in my brief comments was, I want you all to think about what your legacy is going to be. Think about what kind of an impact and legacy you will leave at VCSU. And that's really what we're celebrating tonight. A room full of legacy makers, folks who made such an impact on this institution that is legendary. And we thank you so much for everything that you've given to the campus. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful evening tonight. I hope you can participate in some of the homecoming activities tomorrow. It's going to be a fun day. It's been a really fun week. We have an energized, active, positive student body. We're growing. We're still leading the pack with the North Dakota public institutions, as you saw with the recent U.S. News report. Things are going really well at VCSU. And we're just so happy that we can welcome you all back and honor you tonight for the achievements that you had at VCSU. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Lefebvre. At this time, it's my honor to call on, in 1983, I was making a visit to another university, and there was a playoff game that night between Valley City and Mayville State. And I was trying to make a decision on where I wanted to go to college at. And in the last seconds of this game, a Norwegian from Minnesota made a jump shot to beat Mayville State 45-43. He went on to become a Viking baseball player, a Viking basketball player, to be the head basketball coach for both men's and women's, and now we're lucky enough to have him in the School of Education. So at this time, to give us our blessing, I'd love to call on Al Olson.
So yes, please bow with me for just a moment. Dear Lord, thanks for the food we're about to receive. We're grateful for the opportunities to participate in athletics as players, coaches, or fans, and we appreciate all the valuable life lessons and friendships that come as part of those experiences. We're grateful to gather and celebrate the accomplishments of the individuals and the team members being honored tonight. We respect their long hours of dedication to develop their skills, and we appreciate how they've used their gifts to the best of their abilities. We're thankful for all the family members, friends, coaches, and teammates who supported and encouraged them over the years. Most of all, we're thankful for our time together tonight. Amen.
All right, let's see. Before we get proceeding with our inductions, I want to mention a couple things. We have with us some honored guests tonight and inductees that have went in from past classes, and I would like to introduce those that are with us tonight and have them stand and remain standing. From the class of 1988, Dave Roush. Remain standing, Ruth. From the class of 1995, Charlene Stenson. So just to tell you, Charlene retired this year. She's trying to get the ceremony earlier so she can get to bed next year. And if you notice, the food's gotten softer too. We miss Charlene a lot. From the class of 02, Bob Brushwine. From the class of 07, our boss, Don Bauer. From the class of 16, Leroy Anderson. And from the class of 2017, Dave Bass and Jeremy Petrol. Congratulations to all of them. As we gather this evening, we'll be celebrating 5 individuals and a team being inducted into the Viking Hall of Fame. They're Molly Anderson Welstad, a sharpshooting, program-changing, record-setting point guard. Loni Hall Thilmony, a game-altering post player who holds the rebounding record and is number 2 in points scored in Viking history. Both, by the way, that probably could have been all-conference golfers if we had it at the time. Matt Johnson, the conference's most valuable player in 2000 and VCSU's second position player to play professionally. Josh Kasowski, a linebacker who redefined the position and finished his career statistically as the best tackler ever in VCSU history. Karalea Morris, Hoyano. All she did was throw no-hitters, strike out batters, and pitch complete game shutouts at a record pace. On a 2006 softball team that restored a tradition of success in Viking softball and set a program standard for years to come. Each of our inductions tonight will begin with a narrated presentation with highlights of their individual careers. We'll start this evening with Molly Anderson Welstad.
Molly Anderson Welstad was a 2-year standout on the VCSU women's basketball team, earning first team all-conference 2 times and scoring 1,029 career points for the Vikings during the 2001 and 2002 seasons. A native of Watford City, North Dakota, Molly transferred to VCSU prior to her junior season and made an immediate impact as a sharp-shooting guard. She was the kind of player every coach dreams of, a dedicated player with a strong work ethic and a high basketball IQ. A fierce competitor on the court, Molly was a great leader and led by example with her unselfishness, shooting, and ball handling. Molly made 176 three-pointers at VCSU, including a school record 91 threes during the 2001-2002 season. She averaged 17.4 points per game during her VCSU career and scored a school record 536 points as a senior, including a 30-point night against NDSU in front of our home crowd at the Osmond Fieldhouse. Molly wasn't just a great scorer. She was a great passer and teammate, averaging 4.5 assists per game as a Viking. She was named first team all-conference during both her junior and senior seasons. Molly set the bar high while in a VCSU uniform and inspired many young student athletes to pursue their dreams. She was definitely a camp favorite, and she still inspires legends of the future by sharing her love of the game with her daughters and many future Vikings. Congratulations, Molly, and welcome to the Viking Hall of Fame.
Molly will be presented into the Hall of Fame by her coach, Jill DeVries.
Coach's dream, she made baskets.
I was hoping I'd be first. First of all, I just want to say thank you and congratulations to all the inductees tonight. I have a couple teammates, Missy Leno Schmidt and Crystal Ingleby Strittmatter are here tonight, along with my coach, Coach DeVries. If you guys could just please stand for a quick second. Without you guys, I'm certainly not up here giving this speech. So thank you, ladies. I wanted to share a few stories about them and our time here. But when I tried to think of a few that would be appropriate for the evening, I couldn't think of any. But I also want to thank my parents who are here tonight. They didn't miss many games, if any, and were always so supportive. They always enjoyed sports, and they definitely passed that down to us kids at a young age. It's also pretty special to share some of these VCSU memories tonight with my husband Joel and 2 out of 3 of our daughters, Macy and Harper. I was a little worried about bringing a former Marauder to the festivities, but security was pretty light. Our oldest daughter is back in Minot. She had a golf meet today. She qualified for state golf, so it was kind of a nail biter on the way here. Just a quick thanks to also my aunt and uncles that are here tonight to share in the fun as well. So, I'm not the greatest at speeches, as I'm sure you can tell already, or remembering specific game details. But what I do remember is that I enjoyed every minute of my time here at Valley City State. I had the greatest teammates, who are also the best of friends. We had a coach who pushed us to be our best as players, students, and humans. Everyone on campus seemed to care a great deal about all of us. That is something that I appreciated at the time, but even more now that I'm almost grown up. There are lots of memories that I reminisce about my time spent here. I grew up coming to Valley City to visit grandparents and family, and it's always been a special place to me. Even as a kid, I enjoyed driving by the beautiful campus, which it still is today. So when I was leaving junior college, it was the perfect fit to move here. A decision I would never regret. Going to keep it kind of short and sweet and wrap it up by just saying thanks again to everyone that had a hand in making my time here so special. Thank you.
Congratulations, Molly, and you can share with your husband what I shared at graduation with our graduates, that there are two types of graduates: those who graduate from Valley City State University and those who wished they graduated from Valley City State. Our next inductee this evening is Loni Thilmony.
Simply put, Loni Thilmony is a Viking legend. A native of Parshall, North Dakota, Loni was a 4-year starter at center on the VCSU women's basketball team from 2004 to 2007. From the very start, we knew Loni was going to be a special player. She scored a team-high 15 points, including 2 clutch free throws with 20 seconds remaining as we knocked off the #1 ranked team in the country during her freshman season. Loni was clutch and always played with a quiet confidence. She went on to be named Dakota Athletic Conference Freshman of the Year in 2004, and then earned all-conference honors each of the next 3 seasons. Loni was also named Honorable Mention All-American as a junior and Academic All-American as a senior. She was committed to being her best on and off the court and worked to improve her game every season at VCSU. During her Viking career, Loni pulled down a school record 855 career rebounds, made a record 423 free throws, and finished as the second leading scorer in Viking history with 1,626 points. Loni was a post player with great hands and great feet, and she made others around her better. She drew a lot of attention from opponents defensively, and you couldn't foul her because it was like giving up 2 points. Loni was and continues to be one of the best post players in Viking history, and I am grateful she chose VCSU in the spring of 2004. Congratulations, Loni. Welcome to the Viking Hall of Fame.
Loni will be presented into the Hall of Fame by her coach, Joe DeVries.
Too bad they didn't get to play together. Well, after college they did, I guess. Okay, first off, let me move this up from Molly. First off, thank you to the Alumni Association and the Hall of Fame Committee for this recognition. It is truly a great honor to be named as one of the 2022 inductees. I want to thank my parents for always supporting me and driving from Parshall to watch my games. And I also want to thank all of those who work behind the scenes for student athletes. It gives small town girls like myself the opportunity to play college basketball. Not only did I gain a new family when I moved to Valley City, I learned a couple of important life lessons. The first one is have faith. A big thank you to Coach DeVries for having faith in me. Growing up in a small town in North Dakota, I didn't get very many offers, and even though I wasn't in the newspapers or spotlighted very often, she had faith that I was worth the drive to Parshall, North Dakota, and that I could possibly help the Vikings the following year. The second lesson was perseverance. If you need a lesson in perseverance, ask Coach about her off-season and preseason workouts. But the hard work did pay off, and was probably the reason we were able to dig deep late in games. A memory I'll never forget is when we beat the University of Mary my freshman year. It was before they had moved up a division, and they were #1 in the nation. Janae Larson hit a last-second layup by a perfect play drawn up by Coach DeVries, and those are the moments that we live for. The moments that are hard and the moments that are exciting. Thank you again for this recognition, and I'm so happy I chose VCSU almost 20 years ago. Go Vikes.
Our next inductee this evening is Matt Johnson. Matt Johnson was a 3-time All-Conference selection and honorable mention All-American as a standout catcher and hitter during his Viking baseball career from 1997 to 2000. A highly sought-after recruit out of Sawyer, North Dakota, Matt ultimately chose VCSU, where he became a 2-sport athlete, competing in both basketball and baseball. A knee injury derailed a promising basketball career, but ultimately led him to concentrate on being a great baseball player, becoming a Viking Hall of Famer on the diamond, where he grew into an elite catcher with an incredible arm. Matt was extremely hardworking, thought like a coach, and was willing to lead. It takes a special talent to start at catcher from day one as a freshman, but Matt's athletic ability, work ethic, and his open-minded approach to learning allowed him to flourish at the toughest position for a freshman. He possessed pro baseball arm talent that gained the attention of opponents and scouts as he eliminated the running game for opponents for the next 4 years. In the batter's box, Matt had a .354 career batting average and hit 14 home runs and drove in 90 runs during his Viking career, earning All-Conference 3 times. He was named the North Dakota College Athletic Conference Most Valuable Senior and honorable mention All-American in 2000, batting .362 with 8 home runs and 34 RBIs. After his VCSU career, Matt played for the FM Redhawks and 3 other professional organizations, later becoming an assistant coach at Northwest Missouri State and a successful head coach for the St. Joseph Mustangs, an elite collegiate summer team in the Mink League. Congratulations on your accomplishments, Matt, and welcome to the Viking Hall of Fame.
I really forgot what poor headshots I took from back in the day, apparently. But they're always good refreshers. First of all, I want to thank everybody here today. I'd like to thank my family for coming, my wife, my son's here, and my daughter has stayed back because she got softball, but I remember when Corey called me a few months ago, and I thought he was just calling to chat, just to because we touch base all the time. And when he told me that, I mean, my reaction was of surprise, excitement, all in one. And it's not necessarily just the baseball, but it's the community that we have here. From Coach Olson, sitting in my house during a recruiting visit, to playing against Corey and his teams in the summer when I was in Sawyer and he was coaching at Valley City, and just the relationships that we built from that moment, to the friends that I had, Darren Wandy, Jeremy Peschel, I mean, all the players that were around me at those times, Kalen Paul, which a lot of people don't know, Donnie Smith, a lot of the pitchers that molded me and shaped me into the catcher that I was. And Coach Anderson for allowing me to, pretty much call the game from day one. It's been very special to be a part of this Viking family. And when Coach McCollum was talking about that earlier,
everybody says they have a sense of family and a sense of pride that comes with being at their institution or their university or in part of their program. But ultimately, that was the reason why I decided to come here. It's because of that sense of family. Dave Bass, Al Wilson, just all of that, all the players. It was definitely the right decision when I came here the first time, around. It was definitely better than going to Mayville. Even though the very first week that we were here, I thought Coach Anderson made really the wrong decision on recruiting me, because we came from basketball practice because we were working out at that point. We thought we'd catch the back end of baseball practice, me and Mike Richmond. And we get to practice, and Darren Bishop is on the mound throwing batting practice to us, because at that time Corey was the offensive coordinator of football, so it was just player ran. And we hop in for batting practice after stretching, and I don't think I touched a single ball of the 20 that Darren Bishop threw me. However, I just thought it was because it was that college level, like, oh, this is, I really got to step up my game. Well, Darren was throwing about 95 miles an hour from about 45 feet away. So it made me feel like I was about that small, and I needed to compete and keep working at it harder. But I remember walking out of practice that day with Richmond going, man, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. But it turned out good in the end, because I made some lifelong friends out of this. I met my wife in college. I got 2 beautiful kids. And now I get to experience that on the back end of what I experienced with Corey's family, where Brady was in our wedding, and Katie was in our wedding, and just being that sense of family. So, for anybody that has been here, this place holds a special place in my heart, and it always will. Thank you guys for your time. Go Vikings.
So I'm going to go on record, Matt, and I'm going to make a public apology to you. And those who know me well know that doesn't happen very often, and admit that I'm wrong. But we had the opportunity to play together in the summers when he was playing for me. And he's catching and I'm pitching, and I gave up a couple home runs in a row, which is not unusual. But I did like to compete, and so he did what I taught him to do when a pitcher does that. He came out to the mound to have a visit with me, and as he's walking out to the mound, I'm just saying, ball, throw me the ball. Just relax. He walks out like he's supposed to do, and I'm thinking to myself, what is he going to tell me? And this is going to be really good. So he gets out there, and I just said, just get behind the plate, just give me the ball, and he's going to calm me down. And I said, Matt, all you know about good pitching is you can't hit it. Give me the ball and get behind the plate. So I'm going to apologize now that's something that should have never been said, but I like to compete. I am sorry. Thank you for not taking that out on my son when he played for you in Missouri. Anyway, our next inductee this evening, Mr. Josh Kasowski.
Josh Kasowski racked up 346 career tackles as a standout linebacker on the Valley City State football team from 2000 to 2004. A native of Valley City, he finished his Viking career as the school's all-time leading tackler. Josh had the tools to be a great linebacker: tough, physical, high passion, and always in great shape. But what really set him apart was being an elite competitor. He had a nose for the ball and that competitive drive to be the best. His preparation off the field and that drive are what made him elite. He was fun to coach because he wanted to be great. He worked hard to be great, and you knew you were always going to get his best. Josh was a focal point each week for opposing offenses, and he still found a way to produce results. As a senior, Josh ranked second in the nation with 15 tackles per game and was named first-team All-American, becoming only the 5th Viking to ever achieve that accolade. Josh was an all-conference player as a junior and a senior, tallying 278 tackles over his final 2 seasons. He set and still holds a record with 31 tackles in a single game. Josh left a lasting impact on the field, but what we admire most is his continued passion for Viking football and VCSU. He continues to be involved in the university and the Oarsman Club. He is a great example of be Viking and continues to impact the success of Viking athletics. Congratulations, Josh. Welcome to the Viking Hall of Fame.
Josh will be presented into the Hall of Fame by his coach, Dennis McCulloch.
Don't feel bad, Matt. I used to work out with Bishop. Guy was a stud. Well, this is true. My opening line tonight was going to be, "Is Coach Matt crying yet?" Never having imagined it would have already happened. Thanks for ruining that for me. Coach Matt's a good crier. First, I'd like to congratulate the other inductees with me here tonight. I'm humbled to be part of this group. We saw their stats and what they've accomplished. Thanks to the Hall of Fame Selection Committee. I knew if I wrote enough checks out to the university, I'd be standing up here one night. Secondly, I'd like to be sure to recognize and thank my three primary coaches. Head coach Dennis McCulloch. Naturally, I've known Coach Mack for a long time. Ever since he and Coach Horner recruited me back in 2000. Coach Mack and I have a lot in common. For instance, we have the same number of coaching wins in the NAIA playoffs. Too much? Go to plan B. Assistant head coach and former defensive coordinator Greg Horner. Coach Horner actually had a lot in common with me when I was a freshman. Second string, wondering when I'm going to get a shot to be the guy. I'm not sure if that's a shot at Horner or McCulloch. Tough crowd. Offensive coordinator Corey Anderson. Always admired his complex offense. When I say complex, I mean like 5 or 6 different plays. They all ended with Jeremy Pesh will make something happen. He did keep the defense on their heels, however, by putting 4 or 5 guys in motion pre-snap every play. The only coaching decision in those 3 I ever questioned was them not letting me handle the ball as a dual threat. Anderson would say, blame Horner. Horner would say, blame Mack. I'd go talk to Mack. He'd do his fake laugh, tell me to get out of his office. Okay, I've never given a Hall of Fame speech before. That's probably abundantly clear at this point. So not sure what to do. I asked a few people that are close to me, what should I talk about? Stats, achievements, personal accomplishments, they're never mentioned. What got brought up was what it meant to me to be a Viking and what would my teammates say about me. So here goes. To be a Viking was a play for coaches McCulloch, Horner, Anderson. Glad you did this too, Matt. They embody what football is about. They're proof you can have long-term success with integrity. Satire aside, I have a great love and respect for those men. To be a Viking was playing the DAC 10, which at the time was arguably the strongest NAIA conference in the nation. It was an honor to be part of a Viking team that won a conference championship. To be a Viking was to play on Lockett Field where alumni, fellow students, faculty, and fans were always our 12th man. I was privileged to be a Viking. I have a family and a girlfriend who's now my wife, who always supported me. But at the same time, never pushed me toward anything I didn't want to do. My father understood there was more to life than athletics. He gave up post-high school athletic opportunities to finish school and start a career. My mother was my biggest supporter. She never missed a game. They became Vikings without even knowing it.
It gets easier from here. To be a Viking was to play with young men from around the country, including several All-Americans, Ben Arstead, Joe Marsh, Jeremy Peschel, to name a couple of my favorites. Teammates have gone on to go do great things. Special forces, the military, doctors, teachers, just to name a few off the top of my head. I was privileged to have a linebacker coach, Rupert, who epitomizes what it means to be a Viking. I was privileged with good health, often played hurt, never played injured. I played in all 41 games of my career. To be a Viking was to attend a school with a campus that made you feel like family. To be a Viking was to represent the name on my front of my jersey on and off the field in such a way that students, faculty, and administrators would have reason to say he's one of ours. To represent the name on the back of my jersey in such a way my parents, brother, and other family members, future wife and children would have good reason to say he's one of us. Being a Viking meant boxed wine Saturday nights out of a paint bucket.
That never happened.
You know. To be a Viking was to work hard in the classroom as a steward of the education that had been given to me at a discounted price. To be a Viking was to develop and use my God-given talents to their fullest potential, and to do so in a way that honored God and benefited others. To be a Viking meant never missing an off-season workout, not because I wanted to be an All-American or in the Hall of Fame, because I felt that responsibility to my teammates and my coaches, my fellow Vikings. I stand here tonight as a proud Viking. What would my teammates say about me? I would hope that my teammates would, most importantly, call me a good teammate, a good leader, a person that held others accountable by setting an example on and off the field, a person that put the team before anything else, a person they could count on. I hope that they noticed that I, with many others, always attended chapel Saturday mornings before games. That always brought perspective to whatever happened the rest of the day was really not that significant. I would hope that my accomplishments on the field would be far secondary to when they think of me now. I hope that they would say that I was a good friend and maybe I did something along the way that positively impacted their life as they did mine. I know I'm not defined by what I accomplished in athletics, and I know my teammates, my coaches understand that. I admittedly already live vicariously through my sons and their sports. I want to be part of their team because once you're done with organized athletics, that's the one feeling you can never get back. In my professional life, I manage about 25 people. We consider ourselves a team, but we don't sweat together. We don't take risk at personal injury together. We don't risk emotional tears together. We don't take 8-hour bus trips together. We aren't completely dependent on each other. It's just a different kind of team. I often get asked what I miss about football. Truth be told, I don't miss football, but I sincerely miss being part of that kind of team. Being a teammate, being a Viking. Thank you for the honor, and I thank you especially to my coaches, my team, and my fellow Vikings. Gator Vikes.
Kaz, Coach Horner knew that you'd probably take a shot at him, so he wanted to make sure to have me let you know that he thinks you look better in shape today than you did when you played back then. And he also thinks that you could be a good backup linebacker to your cousin.
I was going to bring that up too.
Our next inductee this evening is Karalea Morris Hoyano.
Karalea Morris finished her Viking career as one of the most dominant pitchers in the history of Viking softball, pitching 48 complete games and striking out 490 batters during her 2 seasons at VCSU in 2005 and 2006. A native of White Rock, British Columbia, Karalea transferred to VCSU prior to her junior season and finished her Viking career with 2 All-Conference honors and an honorable mention All-American selection. She set a school record with 340 strikeouts in her senior season and posted a 22-10 record with a 1.56 ERA. Karalea had a highly successful senior regular season, but but I'm not sure anyone was prepared for the domination she would show in the tournament play that year. She led VCSU to the NAIA regional tournament title as the Vikings advanced to the World Series for the second time in program history. Karalea pitched all 28 innings of the regional tournament, no-hitting a very good Dana College team, and finishing the tournament with 48 strikeouts and just a single earned run. Karalea was competitive. She worked relentlessly in practice to become an expert in her craft, became a leader for our 2006 national tournament team. She had the skill, the attitude, and the desire of what it takes to be a great softball player. She broke records, but was never out there for herself. Karalea was a leader on the field and took the mound for her team. Karalea has continued to be an ambassador for softball in her home province of British Columbia. She has gone on to coach many teams and pitchers through private lessons and continues to grow the game of softball. Congratulations, Karalea, and welcome to the Viking Hall of Fame.
Karalea will be presented into the Hall of Fame by her coach, Chad Slider.
Thank you to the nomination committee, and thank you to VCSU for this special recognition. Congratulations to the other inductees. In case you didn't know, Canadians say sorry and thank you a lot. And this evening I have a lot to be thankful for. So sorry in advance for all the thank yous. I am honored to be here tonight, supported by my parents, Deborah and Vance, my husband Kieran, and our boys, Jaden, Mason, Luke, and Jake. Thanks for being here with me. I want to start out by showing my appreciation for the beautiful sport of softball. I feel incredibly grateful for this sport. I love this sport. I love everything about it. The team building, the lifelong friendships that it provides, the passion, the grit, the grind. It teaches so many things beyond just softball. I went for my first job interview to become a teacher, and the principal interviewing me asked me more questions about my role in softball than in education. He expressed that team sports provide life skills, leadership skills, showing that you can be a team player, that you care about others, and will work together for a common goal. That you can contribute meaningfully to a team, and that was everything he wanted to see in an educator. All those qualities are embodied by this 2016 that I'm here celebrating with tonight. I got that job and now continue to pass that same message on to the girls that I coach, the students that I teach, and to my own children. Softball shaped me and has given me far more than records and awards, and I owe it a big thank you. When I think about my time here playing softball for Valley City State University, I have many, many fond memories, but most of all, I just feel grateful. I feel grateful because I'm not even sure how I even ended up here, to be honest. And I recognize the rarity of the opportunity I had before me. I was coming from a junior college and had posted on many different websites trying to see if I could continue my softball dreams somewhere else here in the United States. Coach Slider and I would often talk about this after, how neither of us are completely sure how we found each other. And now looking back, I couldn't imagine it any other way. This is where I was meant to be. I joined this team to meet women that I still call friends. It feels weird to think that we are 16 years out from last being all together. I still feel like I'm in my 20s. That is until I hang out with 20-year-olds, and then I know I'm in my late 30s. I'm so appreciative that most of us can make it back this weekend with our kids and to celebrate the team induction all together so we can reminisce about all the many memories we had here at Valley City State University. Like surviving many questionable but entertaining bus rides with Sweet Ketta behind the wheel, watching Dave Bass and others hang K's along the fence for home games as we worked our way towards our school records, surviving life's poor choices by going out to the bar and knowing that it might result in running a gauntlet for punishment not near 6 hours later. Coach swears they didn't let a bull onto the field to get us to run, but I've never seen the girls move so fast, and that is actually not a joke. Only in Valley does a bull escape the butcher and end up on our softball diamond. The only thing that made this more memorable was a rancher that came over and ended its poor life right there in right field. As it turned out, that sacrifice to the softball gods was exactly the edge we needed to finally beat Dickinson State in regionals. I will remember singing on that bus ride home and reminding Coach Slider of his promise to shave his head. It's good to see you're still keeping the memory of that victory alive. Nationals was a monumental moment for us as a team and for the Valley City State University softball program. The 20-plus hour bus ride and getting to play in Alabama, wearing what can only be described as men's oversized basketball shorts. Thank you to Charla's mom for saving us on that trip. Spending the season watching our team break school records over and over, both individually and as a group, and celebrating each other's success as we went along. When I reflect on why I'm up here, I know that my perfect games and no-hitters happened because of great defense. Without teammates making outstanding plays, those outs would have turned into hits and resulted in very different stats. So thank you to everyone on the 2006 team for being rock solid and somebody I could rely on day in and day out. Of course, every team is only as good as its leaders. Slider took a chance on me and turned me from a closing pitcher to a starter and really pushed me to buy into this change. I'd come from a junior college, as I mentioned, where closing was the only rule that I knew. He trusted me to shake off pitches, even when he probably wasn't very happy about it, and believed in me and made sure that I believed in me. Coach Kapner joined our coaching staff was a pivotal moment for me as a pitcher. Although she made us work harder than we wanted to, and always knew if we skipped her dynamic warm-up, she gave us the skills physically to match the confidence that Slider was pushing mentally. She lit the fire, expected 110%, and I can still hear her yelling at me to pull the rope while I run. Kapner taught me a curveball that changed me as a pitcher and led me to break the program's strikeout record. I'm appreciative for the time and effort that Coach Slider and Coach Kapner put into me as a player and as a person. It is very telling that 16 years later, you both still check in on me, you celebrate my milestones from afar, and you show an interest in my life. I wouldn't be up here accepting this recognition without the two of you, so thank you. Pitching is what brought me here tonight, and on the other end of every great pitcher is also a great catcher. I don't know where Cavi is. There you are. Katie Cavallero was mine. I was lucky to have Katie join our team, and we instantly clicked. We were a dynamic duo, and having her was a key part to my success. This recognition is genuinely shared with you, Cavi. You pushed me to be better, worked harder, and you framed tighter than anyone I know. So thank you. As a parent myself, I have a new appreciation for the time and effort and support my parents, and especially my mom, put into my early years. When I think back about my softball career, I know it wasn't always easy for them to provide me with the opportunities that they did. My mom caught for me for as long as she could before my now husband stepped in to catch bullpen after bullpen growing up. Thank you guys for your endless love and support and for taking the time to be here with me tonight. It means a lot. I love you both. Thank you again to the Hall of Fame Committee for this honor. I appreciate the opportunity to share with my boys a time when I was very proud of myself, my team, and our accomplishments. And being here and sharing this with them, my family, and the rest of the 2006 team is such a gift. Thank you.
Our last induction this evening is the 2006 softball team.
The 2006 Valley City State softball team restored a tradition of success in Viking softball and set the program standard for years to come, breaking more than a dozen school records and reaching the NAIA World Series for just the second time in program history. After a sub 500 record the year before, the 2006 softball team had high expectations and lofty goals. At the end of the season, they had achieved most of the goals, including winning the NAIA Regional Tournament, advancing to the NAIA World Series, and breaking the program's single-season wins record. After starting the season with a 15-2 record, we stumbled in regular season conference play. But as coaches say, you want to be playing your best ball at the end of the season, and this team certainly did. We placed second in the DAC tournament, qualified for regionals, and then swept through the NAIA regional tournament with 4 straight wins. With Karalea Morris in the circle, we no-hit Dana College in the first round at regionals, upsetting the number 2 seed and avenging an earlier season loss. From there, we beat Morningside College and Dickinson State twice, punching our ticket to the World Series when Ruby Garza snared a line drive for the final out of the regional championship. At the World Series, the team fought hard to a 1-3 record in pool play, dropping a pair of tough games but defeating Bethel College of Tennessee, who finished the season with a school record 36 wins. The pitching staff of Karalea Morris, Alana Purvis, Carlin Benninger, and Sadie Smith was arguably one of the most formidable pitching staffs in program history, and combined for 4 no-hitters, 1 perfect game, 17 shutouts, and a 1.68 team ERA. Offensively, many players broke individual records and combined to set new team offensive marks as well. Currently, the 2006 team has 39 individual or team marks listed in the top 10 of various categories in Viking softball history. Although this team did not complete the goal of a conference championship, they went on a run at the end of the season that I firmly believe began the standard for what VCSU Viking softball still is today. The first team to play in a national tournament in 23 years, records broken and shattered, and a legacy that still holds true today. Congratulations, Vikings, and welcome to the Vikings Hall of Fame.
At this time, I'd like the 2006 team to come forward and be presented into the Hall of Fame by their coach, Chad Slider.
So apparently I was voted to give a few comments on behalf of the team. I was not a part of this vote. I don't know that it actually happened, but Karalea and I will be talking afterwards. First, I'd like to thank the Alumni Association and Hall of Fame Committee for the induction of our team into the Viking Hall of Fame. Congratulations to all of the other inductees this evening. When you coach as long as I have, you have memories and relationships, and it's cool for me as a coach to come back. Molly probably doesn't remember it, but she kicked my butt in high school basketball in her junior and senior year, my first coaching job in Grenora, North Dakota. I was able to coach Loni for 3 years as the assistant women's basketball coach with Jill, so that was a personal tie. Got to watch Josh play football while I was a coach here, and our paths crossed indirectly. I got my butt kicked at the Sawyer-Surrey Legion field a number of times by Coach Irwin, but then I followed your career into VCSU as well, so congratulations to you all. I'm going to be a little personal at times and then talk about the team at times. First, I got to start by thanking Jill DeVries, who recruited me to come to Valley City State and be her assistant women's basketball coach, which also meant I got to be the head softball coach. And that all started with Don Bauer, who took a chance on me and really set all of these wheels in motion. I also wanted to thank Doug Peters. Doug Peters was our AD when we went to the national tournament in 2006. Many conversations, a lot of organization, and he was able to help get us there. Also wanted to thank Carrie Strickland, who I believe was probably known as our team mom on campus. I know a lot of girls spent time in your office. I'm sure there were tears and hugs, and we appreciated everything you did for our team. Coaches Kapner, Coaches Crum, and Coach Plessity. Loni talked about the people behind the scenes. Unbelievable with what our coaches were able to do and help us achieve the goals that we set out for that year. Also wanted to give a personal thank you to the girls on a different tangent. I did lose a bet in 2006. I had to shave my head. Have been doing that ever since. and have literally saved thousands of dollars on haircuts. So thank you for that. I believe we have some unsung heroes behind the scenes that helped us get to the 2006 national tournament. Karalea mentioned the bull. We thank you, RIP. There's a story to that. I was at a different field. Karalea called me. She's like, oh my God, there's a gun. Boom. It was over. We also had somebody that isn't here, haven't talked to since our regional tournament, but I was fortunate enough to be able to work with wonderful people like Corey, CA. And one of the things he taught me was that when you go on the road, you pre-order your breakfast at Perkins, the Tremendous 12. Order it, get it done, sit down, eat, go. So we get to the Sioux City, Iowa for the regional tournament. We order a Perkins breakfast, Tremendous 12, sit down, eat. We had a lovely, lovely server. We won. Well, if you are a softball player or a baseball player, you are very superstitious. So day 2, we go back, we order the Tremendous 12, we sit down at the restaurant, everybody sits in the same spots. Lo and behold, we had the same server. And we said, we won yesterday. You have to serve us again today. We won on day 2. We went back, she came in on her day off to serve our team to help us get to the national tournament. So we thank you wherever you are, wonderful Perkins sweet lady server. And then finally, a thank you. We don't win games unless we can get to games. Karalea mentioned Jaquetta. Jaquetta loved our team, and she got us to where we needed to be. We sometimes questioned whether we were going to get there safely, but we got there, and we were able to play, and we were able to come back. Jaquetta drove us to Sioux City, to the regional tournament, and one of my favorite memories, I was sitting in the front with Doug Peterson after we won, and we're planning and scrambling. We got to do this, we got to do that. And there was road construction coming back from Sioux City. And in the road construction, they have those orange pile cones down the middle of the road. And I look up and I see thump, thump, thump. And I looked at Doug and I was like, you know, I've always wondered what it would be like to hit those things. Jaquetta didn't care. She just kept right on going. And she got us home. And we were hoping she would be here, and we miss her dearly. Carrie, know that we appreciate everything your mom did for us. Wanted to share a few highlights from the season. Obviously, you heard the video. We didn't maybe win as many conference games as we wanted to, but we went in, battled throughout the season in a number of different areas. One of the highlights for me personally was setting the single season's wins record. That was a goal that we had set up. We started 15-2 in our season, so that was a realistic possibility for us really early in our season. We got to tie the record, I believe, which was 21, and then we went on a 7-game losing streak. And I was like, what is going on? And then it hit me. We're saving the victory for the record-breaking win for at home against Mayville State. They had it all planned. It was perfect. So to be able to beat Mayville State at home for the record-breaking win, which was one of the pictures you saw on the video. You heard about the pitching staff, Coach Kapner's pitching staff. One of the highlights that I remember from that year is we went to Dakota Wesleyan and we swept them in a doubleheader. Not only did we sweep them, we threw back-to-back no-hitters in a doubleheader, which I've never seen in my life again. And not only that, the coach of that team is now the head coach at Texas Tech University, which I think is also kind of cool. So you guys beat a good one there. Obviously, number of memories from the conference and regional tournament. I would make comments about that, but I do know that this is being filmed and some people might be watching. We were able to get to the regional tournament, and I think we were let in because people thought they were going to beat us to get to the national tournament. And this team went on to prove them wrong. On the trip to nationals, I just sent out a random email. I'm like, hey, we're going to nationals in Georgia. Can we stop and practice at your university? And the answer was yes, and it happened to be University of Louisville. The girls didn't know it. Doug and I had planned it. I think we got up at the butt crack of dawn that morning to get on the bus to get there. We pulled into the University of Louisville and got to practice on one of the most immaculate fields that I have ever been on, so that was pretty cool. Later that day, we drove into Nashville, had a meal at Hard Rock Casino, and somebody didn't get, was it a bloomin' onion? Somebody didn't get an appetizer and Doug threw a fit. So everybody got their meal paid for that night. We got a free team meal at the Hard Rock, which was also pretty cool. One of the other highlights that I remember, again, beating Mayville, it's always fun. Their coach was throwing a tantrum one day because Jackie O'Neill, who holds the single season stolen base record, I don't know how many she had that day, probably like 30 in one game. The coach kept yelling, "She's dancing around the bases. She just keeps dancing around." And everybody's looking at each other, what is going on? But it was always fun to beat Mayville and to rub it in a little bit with stuff like that. So, when I took over, there was success here before I took over. 9, 10 conference championships in the 80s and 90s. Jill had a great year, couple years when she was coaching. So there was success there. But when I took over, it wasn't great. I think the only girl that I didn't recruit was Jackie. She was like coming in already. I think Dawn had recruited her and she was coming in. I recruited everybody and I said, we want to get back to this. This is our goal. This is our mark. They didn't know any better. I'd never coached softball before. I was a baseball guy. So they came in on blind faith. They came in believing that I was selling them something that could come true. And it did. And Dr. Lefebvre said earlier, what do you want your legacy to be? Viking softball's been good for the last 15 years. Really, really good. And I think this team set that bar. And they set that expectation. Going to nationals in 2006, I think 3 times since then, Viking softball has been to the national tournament. In the last 16 years, only 1 year has it not won 20 games. That started with this team. They won 36. They set a really high bar, and I can't thank you enough for what you did for me as a coach. Daughters, sons, moms and dads, you have incredible, incredible people in your life. I have been blessed to coach really, really great softball players. I'm even more fortunate to be associated with great people, and that's what this team is. And I appreciate every single one of you. So, with that, I've been tasked with passing the microphone. You are to share where you're from, well, your name, where you're from, your position, and where you are now. Got it, Jenny? Jenny, help her when it comes to that.
Hi, I'm Christy Kabner. I was a graduate assistant. I am now a high school math and science teacher in Winnipeg, and I can still taste the chicken salad I ate in Sioux City every day. Like literally, as soon as he said that, I'm like, yeah, no, I remember my meal. That and a Diet Coke every morning. It was crazy.
Hi, Jackie O'Neill. I currently live in Lino Lakes, Minnesota, and I was the shortstop.
I'm Ruby Garza. I live in Dallas-Fort Worth area right now. I'm a chiropractor in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Molly Terveen, originally from Castleton. I'm back in Castleton, 5th grade teacher, and outfield.
Jenny Eggstead, I was originally from Watertown, South Dakota. I currently live in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and I'm the librarian at a Spanish immersion elementary school.
Jenny Kraft. I'm from Harrisburg, South Dakota, and I was a pinch hitter.
Kelly Hargreaves, Baker, Montana. I was DH first base, and I'm now in Cortez, Colorado.
Alicia Henderson, originally from Glendive, Montana, back in Glendive, Montana, commercial lender, and I was an outfielder.
Katie Cavallero from Clearwater, Florida. I was a catcher, and I'm back in Clearwater, Florida.
Tara Scott. I'm originally from Rialto, California. I now live in Ozark, Missouri. I teach middle school outdoor recreation, and I played outfield.
Charla Johnson. I currently live in Whitefish, Montana. I played second base, and I'm an accountant.
Sadie Smith, now Sadie Huffer from Anchorage, Alaska, and I'm a social worker.
Rayanne Hebel, I'm from Sprague, Manitoba. I live there now as well. I'm a registered social worker and work as a mental health clinician.
Karalea Hoyano, I was a pitcher. I teach grade 5 for 5th grade, and grade 5. Yeah, grade 5.
That would conclude our inductions for this evening. Just a couple announcements that I would have. Any of our honored guests, please stay afterwards. We would like to have pictures of all of the inductees, and feel free to use any of the backdrops you would like with your family to do that as well. Tomorrow, there is an honors breakfast at the Student Union in the morning that I believe we would like to have our inductees there to be recognized again. The parade at mid-morning, and then tomorrow afternoon, tailgating and the kickoff at 3 p.m. Go Vikings. So we appreciate everybody coming out this evening, and congratulations again. We're proud to have you as Vikings, and we will see you tomorrow.